What is up, YouTube? My name is Buddy Blues, and today we're gonna build a pedal board. Welcome to another how-to series. Let's get right into it. My friends at Mono just came out with a new pedal board. That's a bag. And inside the bag, we have this thing. Mono went with a really sleek design on this one, and I'm a huge fan of it because of how, first of all, light it is. Second, how they've angled it steeper than most. That's important because if you have your pedals facing you, it's easier to see the knobs, it's easier to press, it's easier to do all that stuff. And the way they have the feet, it's angled outwards, as you can see. Even it's very pronounced in the front. If you can see it, I have to hide my face so it doesn't focus on me. But they have the feet facing forward so that it will never slide. I like that. I went with the medium size and I got myself the new Mono power supply. This rascal. 10 isolated power outlets that are 500 milliamps each. That's extremely important, and when we get into building, you'll see why. 3 of the 10 are adjustable, 9, 12, 18, 9, 12, 18, 9, 12, 18, and you get a 2 amp 5 volt USB. So if you want to add a light, one of those little light thingies to your pedal board, I've seen people do that. I've seen people charge their phones. I've seen people charge their snark tuners. But let's get right into this build with step 1. So step 1 is going to seem extremely obvious, but bear with me. Choose your pedals first. Make sure you have the pedals that you want for a board first. Make sure you have a board. That was pretty damn obvious. But make sure you have your pedals first. Choose your layout, and then buy the pedal board that's one step bigger than that layout. Trust me, believe me, trust me blindly on this one. Because we as guitar players are ritualistic and indecisive. Even with the pedals I've got chosen for this pedal board, I know damn well I'm going to be changing pedals off of it. So I'm going to be taking this out, putting this instead, trying out a pedal here, trying out a pedal there. One pedal is going to be a dual overdrive, one's going to be small. It's always better to have more space rather than less. But that's really the fun of it. I mean, if we're not doing this for fun, what are we doing this for? Sure, some of us like me have music as a career, but that doesn't mean it's not fun. We're doing this for the fun. Let's keep it fun. So with the pedals I've chosen and the Mono power supply that I went with, I could have bought an extra one, but I didn't because I knew that my friends Goodwood Audio were gonna hook me up with some daisy chained power cables for this power supply. Mono's known for their bags, so I know that this bag is gonna be excellent for anywhere I go, whether I wanna fly with it, whether I wanna travel with it, whether I wanna go and put it in the back of the car, put it in the back of a semi. I know it's going to hold. It's rock solid, and they've been doing bags for the longest time, and that's what they're so excellent at. And I like that the bag comes with the pedal board. A lot of pedal boards don't come with bags these days. Power supply itself is what I'm most excited about because of how small it is, lightweight it is, and has such a small footprint. It's virtually noiseless. A lot of other power supplies cause a lot of noise in your pedal board, and no one wants that. And the fact that you have isolated DC power is the key here, so that every pedal gets its own power. 500 milliamps each is overkill. It is ridiculous. Thank you, Mono. Thank you for doing this. This helped me a lot. Thank you. 500 milliamps is overkill. Is it gonna hurt anything? Absolutely not. That's not how amperage works. Take a physics course. Because the pedal will only draw what it needs. Now, an overdrive pedal usually needs 30 milliamps. Some take 5. Some like extremely heavy using pedals take 250 milliamps. So you still have amp. So what I told Goodwood Audio is that I would like to run several pedals off of one isolated output. Overdrive, now running overdrives and fuzzes and stuff like that, that doesn't matter. I can run 6 pedals, 6 overdrive pedals on one output on this thing, and I'm really happy about that. And these are the pedals I decided to go with. I'm proud to have a lot of small businesses on here. I know I'm going to be switching a few about, but the size is going to be about relatively the same. And as I'm looking at this, I realized that I didn't get a tuner pedal or a delay pedal, so off to Guitar Center we go. Okay, I'm leaving. But you never care. So it doesn't matter. Anyway. Sunshine State, my ass. We have the goods. Okay, so now that I have the pedals here in front of me and a pedal board, our first instinct is rip the Velcro up and let's start putting stuff. Well, we gotta be careful on how we put things in proper order. It's also a medium-sized pedal board, so I know I'm gonna need a buffer. So ideally, I would like an in and out from the same place. I want a buffer, preferably in the same thing that's gonna allow me to plug stuff in from the same place, right? I need cables, signal cables. I need power cables that are not the same length and they're going to be very different in, like I'm gonna have 2 or 3 or daisy chains on them, so I don't know what to do, but I've mentioned Goodwood Audio a few times and that's where they come in. So Goodwood Audio is a pedalboard solution company that offers services like one-on-one meeting with the owner of Goodwood Audio, Grant, where he gives you essentially a tone consult. He helps you build your pedalboard from scratch all the way up to complete completion. Complete completion. Goodwood makes cables, he makes signal cables, he makes power cables, he makes everything. He makes pedalboard risers, and he makes the interfacer, which he suggested I needed for this board. So the interfacer allows for flexible inputs and outputs when dealing with possible like venue related issues like ground loops, phase, whatever, all that stuff you get at bars, poor electricity, all of that. And the one I chose allows me to do something called dual mono, which makes me go to 2 amps simultaneously, and that's cool. Not only does it do all of that, my in and out are going to be buffered. My in and out is gonna be buffered. And the way he helped me set it up is that my in is gonna go dry to the fuzzes first, so that I don't want to buffer in front of a fuzz, obviously, neither do you, by the way. And then there's gonna be a loop out into a buffered in through the whole pedal board, back buffered out to the amp or amps. And that is cool. There's also a tuner out and a mute. So I love this because that's gonna go right, can you see? Yes, you can. That's gonna go right here, and that's gonna be the first pedal thingy. It's gonna be the first interface, the first box on my pedal board. It's small, it's tiny, it doesn't take a lot of space, and it's gonna be my in, my out, my buffer in, and my buffer out. Brilliant. Now I'm gonna show you a picture of the board that I wanted to do first and tell you what Grant said. There it is. He said, wow, this looks great, but I have better options for you. And what he means by that is that having the wah pedal on your pedal board, it really looks great. That looks great. It really does. It's impractical. It's impractical. Having to bend your foot this much back is not practical. A wah pedal on the floor is a good idea. However, I wanted it not to be, I wanted my like my wahs after my fuzz. So how am I going to do that? If I put it on the side, it has to be the first pedal or the last pedal. Wrong. And that's where the Audition comes in from Goodwood Audio. The Audition is this tiny little box right here. What that does, it's gonna go on the bottom of the pedal board and it allows me to insert a pedal anywhere I want in the chain. The way I'm gonna have it set up is where I had it initially on that picture, there's just gonna be the audition in between. What I don't want to wah all the time. Okay, I don't want to wah, 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 wah. I'm not in the 70s. I don't want to wah all the time. But whenever I do want a wah, all I have to do, this is gonna be underneath. All I have to do is plug the wah into here, the send and the return, while this is still going. If it's not on, if there's nothing plugged into it, it just bypasses it and everything goes through as you see. But when I put the wah here, it's now in the chain. It's now somewhere in the middle of the chain where I like it. Before the drives, after the fuzzes. Brilliant. And that's what he's best at, Grant from Goodwood. That's what he's best at, is creating solutions for problems that you have with a pedal board. Another thing that he's very good at is making his own signal cables. I cannot begin to stress how important it is for you to spend money, real money, on cables. We're spending hundreds of dollars on these pedals. What's the point if the cable that we're plugging it into is making it sound bad? What's the point? Well, I've been using solderless for blah, blah, blah. Cool, they're going to fail. It's a matter of when. It's not a matter of how. It's not a matter of, yeah, but those are really good and those are better. The contact is just with one screw being your ground, that it's not secure. Soldering your own cables in a completely gas-free thing. Spend money on cables, I beg you. They're also really not that expensive if you go with Goodwood, and you get your custom measured ones. Literally. So here's what we did. We laid out the pedal board how we wanted it, and he taught me how to measure with a measuring tape or a piece of string, how to measure from one pedal to the next. Because I mean, we're not gonna go, if we've got two pedals, for example, that have inputs like this, we're not gonna measure from this output to this output. That's not how that works. He taught me how to measure it properly while going a little bit further and stuff like that to give yourself some room. And then after you get all your measurements done, you send them just the numbers. I want a 4-inch cable here, I want a 5-inch cable here, I want a 10-inch cable that goes from here to here, and he makes it all for you. Same thing with the power cables. Mono did supply me with power cables, and they were great and lovely and all of that, but I wanted daisy chain ones. I wanted one to run off of 2 or 3. So that's where Goodwood came in. So a huge thanks to Mono for sending this pedal board over for me to check out. I'm gonna make a killer board, if I do say so myself, with the help of my good friend Grant from Goodwood Audio, because he makes solutions to problems I didn't even know I had, honestly. Let's get to it. All right, I'm gonna start with the power supply first. I'm gonna do Velcro. The Mono one does come with brackets that you can attach it to the pedal board, but I just wanted to do this because it'll be easy if I ever want to move it for any reason. Next, we're gonna do the interfacer. That's gonna be the first pedal. Here I'm using this type of Velcro, the 3M dual lock. But then here I'm gonna switch it up because I want it to be a little lower profile. Fuzz, one with the Sabatius one. Then I'm gonna go with the octave up thing that OCE made called the step ladder. All of these pedals I've done videos for. If you're interested in any of them, please go back in the channel and check it out. Next, we're gonna do compressor. Going with the LPD CLE 304. It's a compressor, has an EQ and a boost. So chain goes interfacer, fuzz, the step ladder, compressor, and then it does not go to what I'm putting here. It's just the first row. Putting the halo on, and I'm now putting the Strymon Cloudburst as my ambient reverb if I ever need it. Next we have the Thorpe ER2 Univibe. I've never had this much problem with Velcro in my entire life. Getting the sticker off the back of this Velcro has been the bane of my existence. Then we have the Dane, which is the best overdrive, really. Then I wanted a clon and a bruise breaker, and instead of going individual pedals, obviously I went with the Nordvang 83, which is a lovely dual overdrive. Next we have my Dumble flavor. I don't know if it's my favorite Dumble yet, but it's high up there. The HRM version 2 by J-Rocket. And then we have every pedal board needs a light speed. So I have the second light speed that I bought as well, and then the tuner. The tuner is not going to be last in the chain or any of that. In fact, it's not in the chain at all. It has a tuner out from the interfacer, always on. Interfacer itself has a mute. Now I'm going to flip this over and put the audition on for whatever pedal I want to put. Usually it's going to be probably a wah, but I can even audition a new overdrive that I would like. Now I'm going to run power. Those are the cables that Grant from Goodwood Audio made. Some of them are going to be daisy chains, and some of them are just going to be straight up 1-to-1. After all of this, look at how many pedals I have. After all of this, I still ended up with one open mono slot, by the way. So I still have a completely unused 500 milliamp outlet that I can use for literally anything. I could power a whole pedal board from that. Here I'm running the power as neatly as I can. You have to keep in mind that whenever you're running power at the bottom, he's gonna send you the the little sticky thingies and the zip ties. Make sure that if you ever run signal cable over power, it's preferred that you don't, but it's not that big of a deal. But if you do, cross it perpendicularly. Do not line them together parallel. Don't make them walk together, if you will, because that's what creates noise. If you ever want to pass signal over power, you pass it at one point only. Sticker for the gang. Now I'm gonna run signal. I'm not gonna go through any of that. It's just plug this here, plug this here. These are hand soldered by Goodwood Audio. Ta-da! I'm pretty proud of this. So yeah, man, I mean, it didn't really take that little thing that I sped up earlier so that we don't take 500,000 years to watch this video. That was about, it took me like 40 something minutes, like 49 minutes worth of recording. I didn't record putting in the patch cables. I thought that would be like easy, right? You just go in with the patch cables, call it a day. But man, I'm happy with this. I could get any sound I want out of this. I'm pretty happy with this. I don't know about this. I'll see about that in a second. It's cool. It's cool, but I don't think I'm gonna stick with this, the Cloud Burst by Strymon. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with that for a long time. It's a very particular sound. I liked it when I watched the videos. Playing it practically, I don't know. Like if I'm gonna buy it, why would I keep it on the reverb? Are we gonna sit here and talk about this pedal for 17 hours? So let's hear this thing. What's the point of doing this if we're not going to play it? I'm going to play it for a little bit. I'm not going to do a backing track or anything. I just want you to hear. I'm just going to go through everything. And I want you to focus on a few things. I want you to focus on how not noisy this thing is. And we're running a lot of pedals here and a lot of power and a lot of daisy chains. I want you to focus on how not noisy it is. And I want you to enjoy the tones. I'll go through the Silk Tone aux box. Let's get to it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. You have now heard the pedal board. You have now heard them all. A huge thank you to Mono for sending this. It really is the Batman of pedal boards. It is so sleek. It's so lightweight and it's so solid. I don't know how they did it. I don't care. I don't care to know. All I know is it works, and that power supply is really the winner. The pedal board is metal. It's cool. It'll last forever. The feet are awesome. I get it. Tone is what matters to me. The power supply is something else. It's something else, because I've had a Strymon Zuma, I've had the kiosk, however you pronounce it, and I've never had anything this quiet before. This is something else, and I think I may change my other power supplies to the Mono one. And a huge thank you to Goodwood Audio for providing me with the absolute best solutions, cables, power cables, the whole shebang, introducing me to this thing called the Audition, which was wild, and the interfacer, which every pedal board needs because it just makes sense. I'm sure I missed a few things, so please make sure to leave me the questions in the comments. I will do my absolute best to get to them. I will answer as much as I can. If you have any questions, what comes first? Why did I do this? Why didn't I do that? Stuff like that. I would love to answer those, and I'd love to have a discussion with you about it. Consider liking, sharing, subscribing, show this video to all these people. Send it to Mono. Send it to my mom. Send it to your mom. What if they could have tea together? I have been Buddy Blues. You have been the people of the blues. Thank you so much for joining me on the journey. Leave your questions below. I will get to them. Until next time, thank you for watching. I blinked before.